We are back, baby. Just like that, we are fucking back. What is going on, everyone? It is the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Network. It is your boy, the Crooked Commish. Took my birthday week off there. Just little too much things going on with me last week. But that's why you didn't see me. But Coach Chef and Amp were able to hold it down for the pregame show against New England. And we all know how the hell that went. Our home winning streak has now ended. We are now on a, 4-game losing streak now? And now we have the toughest part of our schedule coming up ahead of us. We have all 6 division games still to go. And the 2 games that are not division games are against guys or teams, I should say, that are fighting for a playoff spot and will be fighting for a playoff spot coming down to the end of the season. So it's not like we have that. Like our easiest win was last week, theoretically, that we could be having. But that ended up being a real struggle for us. Like I said, ever since the bye week, unfortunately, we have just gotten worse and worse and worse, have scored less and less points, unfortunately. So, but there is one good thing that happened, I guess, throughout that. And that's when either Coach Eberlus or our GM, Ryan Poles, had a talk with their OC, Shane Waldron, and this is how it went.
Step into my office. Why? Because you're fucking fired. Yeah.
So something had to change there. Something needed to be done. Like I said, the thanks, Brian. See, the Packers fans are already trickling on in. So, Brian, thanks for checking out the show. Hopefully, the Packers can go F themselves. That's what I'll say right there. So, but before I get further into it, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host here, the other guy who's a double captain on this team, just like the Crooked Commish, Coach Chef.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Clubhouse viewers. Good morning, Crooked.
Our Packer fan. Right.
Good morning. You know what? I greet everyone at work. I greet everyone wherever I go. I'm a good Midwesterner. So good morning to you. You. Good morning, you. I'm not about to call you by name. Fuck, I look like. Look, you know what else is bugging me? I'm sorry. I'm already. Bears Packers, no matter what the record is, theoretically something of a primetime event. Wide rivalry. Living here in Phoenix, I'm like, oh, it's the first game on the docket. And you know, in Phoenix, you know what I have at starting at 11 o'clock? Motherfucking infomercials.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I saw that too, and it's a little disappointing. You would think, like I said, this is one of the oldest rivalry in the books there. So it's like, how is that not the feature game?
Before we get into it, the week the Bears had people don't look. If you live in the Midwest, if you live in Central Standard Time, or especially Chicago, Indiana, you're going to get your regular games. The Bears have not been on TV here. I get it. We're in another time zone. We're in the Southwest, whatever. They have not been on any games on TV except for primetime. This the Sunday night game, and then the NFL, the European game in England, London.
Yes.
But the week they were on bye week, the Packers, the Lions, and Minnesota were all on television here. The week the Bears were on bye week, they were all on TV. I turned on the TV because we did the show, and I didn't go anywhere because the Bears weren't playing. I'm like, why am I watching the Packers in Arizona? Why am I watching Detroit in Arizona? Minnesota? What the hell?
Man, well, their offenses actually are somewhat entertaining. You know, they can somewhat produce some sort of, entertainment and just kind of momentum to go down the field. to compare to our offensive team is completely just stagnant. Shane Waldron, like I said, he left a lot to be desired for sure. And it's pretty amazing. And we've been hearing it throughout the radios as well, just how many coaches that Eberflus has been able to have here. So looking at the remaining games in our schedule, it's hard for me to see very many wins. And it's one of those things where what's happening is the thing I think that we all feared when we found out that Eberflus was staying, was that if he doesn't have a good winning record this season, he's going to be out.
True.
And if he's out, then a new coach comes in and this whole cycle shit starts again. So
very, very true. And I think obviously a very anticlimactic, I think is the term. Anticlimactic that you get rid of the OC. But I was telling my fiance Kendra, I was saying someone has to go. Like I have never called for a Bears coach to be fired midway through the season. Because one, as I've gotten older and I'm still a Bears fan, but understanding how the NFL works is a different organization, especially the organization that I cheer for. McCaskies don't fire coaches. GM, we don't do that. But after last week's showing, I was like, oh no, he has to go. Someone has to leave the facility. And the fact that it took to Tuesday was a little disheartening. You hear reports about he had a meeting with Poles, and he had a meeting with Warren. And you hear different. I watch a lot of different YouTube stuff. Oh, by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're viewing. Even you, Mr. Green. Even you, Wisconsin football team lover.
Hey, this is for you. This is for you, Brian.
Hey. That might be my most top. That might be a top 10 Chappelle skit for me. Play your hand ball. Like and subscribe. You're watching, so you might as well like us anyway. But someone had to go, and that showing was. People were so hyperbolic. It was like this was the worst Bears offensive showing. No, it wasn't. It wasn't in no one's lifetime unless you were born Sunday. If you were born on Sunday, then yes, this was the worst Bears offensive performance. It has gotten progressively worse. I don't know how you, and I don't want to, I get it. You keep hearing, we played the worst defenses in the league. None of the defenses we played the last 3 weeks have been top 20 defenses. They've all been ranked 21st or worst.
Yeah.
And we've come out and shitted an egg, laid an egg, whatever, shitted. Yeah, we've shitted on ourselves as a team offensively, as a coaching staff, especially offensively. And we're up to all the creativity we saw versus the Jags, the Panthers, in these games. And I get it. They're bad teams. But last time I checked, the Panthers are winning now. The Jags have been looking better. Where's all the creativity? Where's the tight end play? Where's the motion? Where's the creativity? It looks horrible. Caleb is playing poorly, but your confidence is going to drop as a quarterback or as a player. Same thing with the rest of the offensive players. If you don't believe in the play caller, you don't believe in what you're doing. I'm just trying to also figure out what the hell was Shane Waldron. How was he acting in Seattle? Because he got here like this was his first coaching job ever.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's not. He was the OC for 2 seasons. 2 seasons, right? Two seasons. He was the main play caller for 2 seasons and gets here.
He was the reason why we thought he was the reason why we thought Geno Smith had a resurgence in his career was because of Shane. I mean, that was partly
he was
part
one.
Of the
Yeah, he was one of the reasons. I think Geno had been. This was Geno's time anyway because. Since he's left, Geno's been okay, but he did. I mean, that 1 year he was comeback player of the year. He was that was outstanding. And yes, the players make plays, but the play calling seemed to fit. Bro, so with 4 and 5, and you can say you feel confident about the play calling in what 3 games?
Yeah. So, and I want to ask you this here, since you are a former coach, you've kind of worn that hat before, granted not at this type of level or whatever, but
absolutely not gonna claim that, but yeah.
But just in general, just like you have an idea of what that mindset's like. So, and you were a wide receivers coach?
I've been an offensive coordinator at the high school level, the JV high school level. I've coached my position since I left college. So I've got roughly 15 years of coaching experience off and on as the high school level, especially. I've coached at different levels, but predominantly the high school level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how difficult or how tricky is it going to be for this new offensive coordinator, who I believe was our wide receivers coach? How much of a struggle is it for him to go?
He was the passing. Thomas Brown was the passing game coordinator. He also applied for the job. He was part of the applicants in the offseason. So I actually liked him prior, but I didn't think they were going to hire him because of his lack of play calling experience. Mm-hmm. But when they brought him on as passing game coordinator, I felt even more confident about him being on the staff.
Okay.
Personally.
So like my question is, like, how difficult is it to be a position coach and then halfway through the season to kind of get thrown in to be, now you're the offensive coordinator and you're calling these plays? How tricky is it to kind of like go from that into now have all this extra responsibility in your mind as being kind of like a guy in that position, somewhat?
Well, I could say I've been living by the term for better part of my adult life about if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I believe that even as a positional coach or the running game coordinator, the passing game coordinator, the assistant offensive coordinator, whatever your label is, you should know the offense. Both of these guys, Waldron and Thomas, have come from the McVay tree. Thomas is more indoctrinated, has spent more time or been more praised for his time with McVay than Waldron, but Waldron has spent time there. I know statistically, we said this about Nagy, and we also said this about Getsy. Just because you come from a tree, when it's time for you to call plays, it doesn't mean you're calling the same playbook. You have that instructional, like the idea that you've been running something similar, but doesn't mean that it's the same playbook. That's what we used to say about Nagy. Like Nagy, we said it about Nagy. Like, you just came from a great Hall of Fame type coach. Where are these play calls that Andy Reid calls? And like, you saw it, but you have to remember, everyone has their own way of taking what they've learned over their time in the game and putting it into use. Ooh, almost dropped. Sorry. So if you're the position, like I believe Thomas Brown, I don't think the playbook isn't different. The verbiage won't be different. I know me and Amp had a whole thing about that, about, I said this last week. I was like, look, if they fire Eberflus, Thomas he's going to be the play caller. Because if you get rid of Eberflus, you got to do almost what the Jets did. You got to either demote the offensive coordinator or you got to fire him. You got to fire both, one or both. But I was like, if we shit the bed last week, I knew Thomas Brown was going to be the play caller. I just knew it in whatever capacity, whether he was the interim head coach, whether he was going to be promoted, because he's clearly the next guy up in the play calling, hierarchy. So I think that every coach on the offensive staff has an idea of what they want to do or how they would call plays. You're all in the same meetings, but it doesn't mean that you agree with the play calling sequence of the coach who's calling the plays. I've been an assistant offensive coordinator for a head coach who called plays, and I didn't agree. I didn't agree with the play calling sequence all the time, but I backed up my guy because he makes the calls. No different than me calling plays, and then someone might disagree with how my sequence of plays go. So you're always taking mental notes about what you would do in this situation based on the play call that you hear, because everyone sees the play call. The running back coach knows the play call. Like, you all go through these plays, and you're like, you know what if, and you always play that game. What would I have called in this situation with the same offensive weapons? You have meetings. We've heard reports that Waldron didn't have like he didn't have like full out offensive meetings. He would do position groups, but he would never bring the offense together. He would never bring the offense together. Now, you always have position meetings, but you typically come together as an offense to go over the game plan for the week. You sit in the big auditorium as the NFL. You don't sit in the small little classroom offices. You come to the big auditorium or smaller auditorium, for offense and defense, and you all go over the week's game plan. You go over, hey guys, this is what we're going through. Hey, be prepared for this, be prepared for that. this is the package we're going to run that we've been, we're implementing these things. So to hear that wasn't happening for a pro team is really disheartening. It's hard to believe. So
it's more red flags. Because we heard in the beginning part, we were like, what? He doesn't have the first 15 plays kind of scripted? Like, and granted, you can't go by the script, but just a general mindset, like, when we get the ball, this is how we want to attack them the first drive or two.
Because situations change the script, but usually your first 2 plays, you know what the play calls are.
And as much as we hate this guy, that's kind of like how it went with Getsy. Getsy's first 2 drives were usually pretty good. And then after that,
his adjustments after were bad. Like you didn't have a concept.
You didn't know how to handle it.
You didn't know how to go about the game. So what I would do if I'm the guy who is replacing the guy, especially midseason, you don't want to rock the boat too much, but you say, hey guys, look, we've had some struggles with the offense. So we have a lot of duress between the receiving group, all these different groups within, your quarterback room, running back, receivers, offensive line room. Hey, what have we been doing wrong that you all want to see changed? You got this player coach out. What plays do you like? What sequence do you like? What did you dislike about such and such play calling? You don't want to throw the guy completely under the bus, but you want to reunite the team with the energy. Like, hey, I want your feedback so we can adjust, so we can do this better. Because obviously that's your job as a professional. Even if you're at whatever level is, we've got to do something to give us some juice. We haven't scored a touchdown in 2 games, 23 possessions, 8 quarters. And then you say, okay. And then you go into the mind of, okay, what over the 9 weeks and in training camp have we not been doing? Not trying to overwhelm because you only got 1 game to do it in. You have a half a week. What do I want to implement right now? What have we been doing good? You go look at all the tape. What have we been doing good? What is Caleb comfortable with? What are the receivers comfortable with? And what have we not been doing? And how do you mesh those two in building for each additional game? A crazy stat is guys come from the McVay tree, and the big thing for McVay is that him and then the other guys from his tree all are top 10 in the league in formations that are condensed. No, not the pre-motion, but the condensed formations where
like
tight ends, receivers package where receivers don't light up wide, like your typical wide receiver, your slot, the regular formation. They do a lot of bunching, and the Bears were 8th in those formations.
Correct.
So that's not quote unquote McVay's system, although you're running the same plays like we always say. But is Thomas Brown going to bring in more bunch? And if you're bringing more bunch, you can do more crossing, you can do more routes. And then another thing I heard, which made sense, is we run a lot of things that are wide, but then we run a lot of out routes. So if you're lining up in traditional wide sets, then you run a lot of out-breaking routes. What happens to these middle intermediate throws? Where are these slants? Where are these digs? Where are these crossers? Where are those play calls within those combinations where players are not in the same area? They're going to get Caleb comfortable where he can get the ball out. The other stat that everyone's heard, if you're a Bears fan on TV and online, when Caleb gets rid of the ball in 3 seconds or less, he's third in QBR. When he's longer than 3 seconds, he's the very last in QBR. All these stats are accumulative of things that the coaching staff has to know. And how are you going to do it on a small incremental point in this particular game to give the offense some life? So that's what we're all wanting to see. Do I think there's going to be a world of change? No. But maybe there's relationships within the offense. It's like, hey, we kind of like Thomas Brown a little more. We kind of believed in him more, because you're always talking to the players. You're always talking to them. Like, hey, man, I know it's rough. And same thing with the quarterback coach, receiver coach and stuff. So, but
it was a little bizarre to hear Caleb, like when they asked him, like, hey, how much have you talking to Thomas Brown throughout the season? He was kind of like, really not that much. I maybe said a few things here and there, but we haven't really got to talk to him too much in depth, up until this point or whatever. And that goes to the other bizarre part of what you're saying, as far as just like how he structured
passing game coordinator.
Like you would
how
think,
are you not having conversations with him?
Exactly.
You're the quarterback.
Exactly.
You throw the ball.
Exactly. That's what sounded
quarterback
so goddamn
coach,
bizarre.
Passing game coordinator, offensive coordinator. You should be having conversations with these guys every day.
Daily. Well, and that's the major difference with those other fuckers up north. They asked Jordan Love that, and he's like, "Yeah, I talk to my guy like on the daily,
every day."
Yeah, we damn near have lunch with the guy. You know what I mean? So it's just like the fuck. So to hear that there, he's like, "Yeah, I maybe we see each other in the hallway, kind of say hi, good morning," and that's more or less.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Because that goes back to Shane Roger not bringing the team in, because as the OC at this level or even the college level, you should be each coach is breaking or bringing something to the table, and they should all have input in the meeting. Hey, these are the packages that Thomas wants to kind of run, and we're going to see if we're going to implement some of these in. Hey, Thomas, take it over. What do you want to do this week? What do you see from the past, since you're the passing game coordinator? What things are we going to that we might implement, or things? Hey, what are you saying? Same thing with the quarterback coach. You have positional meetings, but he should be speaking to all these guys all the time. He might not speak to the running back coach and have an in-depth breakdown of the running game, although he might say, "Hey, we want you to do some more." But the passing game coordinator, the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback coach, you should be speaking to them dudes endlessly.
Right. Yeah.
That's extremely puzzling.
It's a good question that came in here with Andrea. Thank you again for tuning in again. Please, guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. How do they get Caleb out of his head? I heard commentary that they're taking Caleb out of Caleb and making him too cautious. Same thing they seem to happen with Justin Fields. So
Caleb,
how do they get?
What do you want to do? How do we get you started? What are your favorite passes? What combination of routes do you like? Do you want to throw more in breaking routes? What gets you comfortable in the game? Doesn't that almost seem like
common sense?
It seems, but as we all know, the old saying, common sense isn't common. I'm doing my Trump with my hands. It's not common. It's not the best, or whatever. It would seem that way, but hey, let's start off. I think Caleb comes out completely too juiced sometimes. So what do you do?
His inaccuracy is so crazy to me.
The first like 3 to 4 passes. So what does he need to get his first hit? Do we run? Do we put him on the move to kind of get that adrenaline to calm down? I don't specifically know without literally going back and look at the all 22 from literally the past 9 games. But they've got to figure something out to calm him down this first drive. Even with him throwing, I've seen they've run the ball on the first play. They've thrown the ball on the first play. When they throw the ball on the first play, I don't think he's completed the first pass of any game he's thrown since he's been the quarterback. So, a quick screen, although I don't know. You got to, after reviewing the film, you've got to see, you want to break whatever things you were doing for the first 9 games and be unpredictable.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But still keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. You ain't got to open up the vast playbook. Just, hey, we need some, quote unquote, we've heard it all week. Every commentator, coach has said it. You've got to find an identity, a bread and butter of, hey, we're good at these plays. The plays that everyone's confident about, let's run these plays, and then let's run them from different formation. Let's run them from different alignment. You can run the same. You can run, okay, my last coaching job, stretch run was our bread and butter. Stretch right, stretch left. We ran outside zone. But you can run that play from so many formations. You can run it from balance. You can run it from overload. You can run it from trips. You can run it from quads. You can run it with a fullback. You can run it with a fullback and a H-back and a tight end. You can run stretch right, stretch left from every formation you can think of. You can run with a preset motion. You can run it out of wildcat. You can run it so many ways. And that means you're giving the defense a different look. It might be the same play, but if they're looking at something different, they don't know what to expect. So you can do one play. You can run one play from every formation with every motion, pre-snap read, all of that. You got to find those 10, 15 plays and you got to roll with those.
Yeah. No, I agree. What do you think of King George's comment here of Caleb Williams struggles in the first half? We believe Eberflus should sit the kid in favor of Bajent to help energize this team. Do you think that would possibly do anything of letting Caleb sit for a minute and maybe watch? I guess.
No,
Bajent isn't a long-term veteran like a Joe Flacco, but
no.
so.
Man.
No, Coach Chef, it's fair to say that
we had
that shit for sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
Drop a dime on that shit. I don't like that shit at all. Now, look, if we had a real veteran, and when I say veteran, I mean a guy who's been in the league 4, 5, 6+ years, and he had been playing experience. Yes, you don't sit him for the. Yes, if you had a Jameis, if you had a Joe Flacco, you might let them spin for a half or something like that. But you don't sit your rookie quarterback, number 1 overall pick, for last year's undrafted free agent quarterback. No, absolutely not. Look, I don't have a problem with Bajent. I have a problem with Bajent fans. I have a problem with Bajent's daddy putting rumors about the receivers want him to start. Bro, ain't a receiver on that team who was like, you know who I really want throwing me the ball? Tyson Bajent. Do you know that DJ's stats, his targets numbers went down the 4 games that Bajent took over last year?
I did not know that.
They did. His numbers went down. Okay. So I don't believe that. Odunze didn't play with Bajent last year. Keenan Allen didn't play with Bajent last year. So why the hell would they want him replaced? Swift didn't play with Bajent last year. So that sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Maybe Tyler Scott had a cup of coffee with Bajent, last year, because
his opinion don't matter right now. His opinion don't matter. He ain't been on the field.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's been a bit crazy. Like, so I was kind of talking about it with Mouth a little bit. Like, it's going to come to a time here soon that we may need to start reviewing Ryan Poles' body of work here if it continues to not get better. And I already started writing down his free agent moves from the past 2 years.
His draft picks. I was going to do.
And
we've got to do a breakdown
about
that.
Picks. Yes,
and then
it's getting to that point.
When you do that, you have to also do it with the eye of what is the hit rate on average in the NFL. What's the first round hit rate? What's the second round hit rate? Third round, rounds 4, 5 through 7. What's the average hit rate on? Now you have to also say we're not a winning team. So what is the hit rate for mid-tier teams who are rebuilding and struggling? How many guys are hit? How many guys are starters? How many guys have moved on? How many guys have moved on and are playing? That matters. If a guy didn't make it on this team and he goes to another team and he's being productive or he's being a part of the rotation, then that means, hey, that kid was actually talented. But if that guy leaves the Bears and is no longer in the league, then that's an indictment on you picking a guy who wasn't.
Like an Anthony Miller?
Yeah. But we forget Anthony had a good rookie year. That was crazy, right? So... But your lifespan in the league is very finite. So, that maybe that was the peak of what he could do, and then it tailed off after that. So, yes, we definitely going to do that. I think we definitely got to collab on part of that to show, especially if things don't end up the season. I still think that as a whole, good and bad, Poles is the best GM in the past 3 GMs. He's better than the other Ryan, the head coach, and the GM have the same first names as the last GM and head coach. He's made better. The trades are better. The free our salary cap looks better. You're gonna hit and miss. No GM. The Chiefs GM ain't 100%.
No,
they just traded for Kadarius Toney and they traded for Sky Moore. No, one guy's not even on the team. And the other guy's not even contributing. I'm sorry, they drafted Sky Moore and they traded for Kadarius Toney. Those guys aren't. They released him, one of the guys, and the other guy is kind of like a gadget. So no GM is 100%.
And then even the guys at I don't know if they traded, but free agent wise, Val Scatton, he didn't work out, and then Juju Smith didn't really work out.
Well,
Juju they keep bringing him back, but
So the 1 year Juju did after he left Pittsburgh,
Sammy Watkins
he had a very Sammy, got to look at it. Sammy was hurt, but he contributed when he was healthy. Those guys all contributed. But those guys weren't signed to, they weren't highly expected to do great things. They had a role. They fulfilled their role. Those guys actually were less productive in their next stop, and that's why Juju is back, because of his success the year he was with Patrick. He went to the Patriots and then had like career lows and everything. And now he's back because he's like, okay, well, maybe I need to go back to where I was actually being productive and guys were using me the way I should be used. But to put a wrap on previous week and the previous week's news, I thought someone had to get fired. Clearly, it was the offensive coordinator because that's who didn't show up. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings with the boys, and the game was putting me to sleep last week. Like, I was tired, but like, I'm like, bro, I'm in Buffalo Wild Wings, like, bro, I want to take a fucking nap. Like, if I was at home, I would have put the pause in the game, went to sleep, and then rewatched again because it didn't look good. No part of a game versus a team that was that's going to draft top 5 next year. Patriots are going to have a top 5 pick next year. Mm-hmm. Their offense ranks at the bottom. We went over it statistically. Their offense ranks at the bottom. Their defense ranks like 27th. No, man. You came out there and looked like a team that had never played together, and you gave up 9 sacks. Your quarterback won't get rid of the ball. It's just not the offensive line. Now, we keep blaming the offensive line, bro. We keep blaming them. But every play that he throws, I do my mental clock in my head. And as soon as it gets to about that 3 second, 1,002, 1,003, you're like, get rid of the ball, Caleb. Get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball. He just.
Yeah. Yo, Keith, this comment is on point from last week. You are 1,000% right. It was just as boring last week as the Tyson and Paul fight.
What did y'all expect? What did y'all expect? Then we got to talk about that too. You expected a 58-year-old man to beat a 27-year-old man? Seriously.
We all have hopes and dreams. You know what? Hey, all right. Before we get further into it, let's pay some bills real quick. So anybody needs to use the restroom, now's your time. I expected
that old ass man. All the old man in the world is like, I could do it too. You would get your ass whooped by a 27-year-old man right now.
His best chance to do that was in the first two rounds. Once it didn't happen, I was just like,
y'all look, I'm not the biggest Jake Paul fan, but I respect what he's doing because he's doing it and he's being successful. He did exactly what any of us would have did in the round for the first 2 rounds, and that motherfucker was moving. He was like, I'm about to let this old man hit me. You crazy?
Right.
Crazy?
Right. I'm not a piano. No. What the fuck?
No.
All right.
Hell no.
Let's pay these bills, and we'll be back to talk more about the Bears game and that team up north.
Stand up, Southside.
Hey guys, it's a guy that everyone likes to hate, the Crooked Commish. And if you're anything like me, that means you have one of these. But if not, that's okay. That just means you need to head over to Fantasy Jocks. At Fantasy Jocks, they have plenty of championship belts to choose from. But if belts aren't your thing, that's cool, because they also have these, championship rings. Fantasy Jocks, they have trophies in all other sports, basketball, baseball, plus plenty of other goodies to choose from. So head over to Fantasy Jocks to get all your championship gear and let them know the Crooked Commish sent you.
Standards prevailed, when excellent craftsmanship was displayed and treated with the utmost importance. Acquire the crisp, refreshing taste of Moore's Beer. Moore's Beer. Raise your standards.
Thank you to all our sponsors. Moore's Beer, In the Zone. Thank you very much for sponsoring us here at the Clubhouse. Like I said, we have a promotional code. So if you guys go to In the Zone Clothing Apparel, you guys can get, I believe it was either 10 or 20% off using our promotional code. So go ahead and hit the link and check that out. And then, of course, to our other sponsors, Fantasy Jocks, thank you very, very much. We really do appreciate all the love and support. And thank you to you guys that are tuning in to us here at the Clubhouse. We always love kicking it with our fans at the Clubhouse. Even if some of y'all are some cheesehead fans.
Brother, who raised you? No. Who raised you if you from Chicago? Like, it's nothing worse than knowing and going to school and associating yourself with Packer fans born and raised in Chicago. I don't want to hear, well, I don't want to be a fan of a loser. You know what? Everyone's going to lose sometimes.
Right.
How the Patriots doing? They ran the goddamn NFL for 20 years. How they doing right now? Exactly.
Right. How were they doing before then? Before Brady came along too. So
Exactly.
it's like it's only a matter of time before, shit levels itself out. So question here from Andrea, a very important question. What kind of wings did you get over there at B-Dubs?
Not gonna lie, I'm weird. So when I went to B-Dubs, guess what I didn't order? Didn't order wings. I got
hamburger,
one of their burgers. I got my boys some wings. I ordered some wings from both my sons. They ate some boneless wings from the kids menu. I got a burger, I had a beer, and then because the Bears game was crap, I was sleepy. I had some type of Red Bull cocktail that they had on tap. The waitress there was really generous. She was working her behind off too. So shout out to her in her section, even though Buffalo Wild Wings wasn't that busy, but they only had like 2 waitresses on the floor, which was kind of odd. But it was all right. Didn't want to leave the house, but we got out the house to watch the game. So I did not eat wings. I was not in the wing mood. Last week, I was on an empty stomach, so I was like, I got to give me something now. So we got a couple appetizers, and I think I went burger.
Cool. Well, next time you go there and you do have some wings, let us know what flavor you got and if it was something that you liked or not. So, but although I'm sure they have B-Dubs over there at in Chicago as well. So,
yeah. B-Dubs is everywhere. Yeah. I'd be surprised if B-Dubs wasn't in all 50 states. I'd be surprised. Well, I mean, I could see it possibly not being in Alaska, but who doesn't eat chicken?
Right. Very true. Very true.
Chicken wings.
So, looking forward towards this game here
today.
Is
in an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the team here, the coach, can kind of come in here and rile the troops up and kind of remind the guys about this.
Gentlemen, this is where we live. We're not going to let them fuck with us in our own house, are we?
We shouldn't. This is our home. We had a nice, good winning streak here, but like I said, the Packers are on a 10-game winning streak against us, unfortunately.
2018.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's definitely been
pre-pandemic was the last time the Bears beat the Packers.
What?
I know.
Look, I don't have them winning. My prediction is going to say that. What type of Bears fan are you? Are you a Bear fan who, like me, I always preface this, I'm an ex-player. We don't play for lose. You don't lose. You don't go out there expecting to lose. You don't go out there voting for your team to lose. I'm not into this. If we have a bad showing, maybe we'll get rid of the coach. You're still taking a fucking loss, bro. You're still losing. If we fire Eberflus tomorrow, you think the team gonna win the next week?
Here's the thing, guys. To the Bears fans out there that are like,
coaches get fired with winning records. Lovie Smith got fired with a fucking winning record, bro. Get out of here. You don't go for losing.
For the Bears fans that are hoping that, like, if we lose this game or whatnot, the coach will finally be fired. We'll do something for the first time. That shit ain't happening. If Mike Tice or not Mike Tice, Tressman was able to get his ass handed to him by the Packers 42-0 at halftime. And I think the final score was like 55-14. And they even said the players said after the game, Rodgers was saying, yeah, we knew that if we got up on this team that they would quit, that they would give up. And they fucking did. So, I mean, for a Green Bay team to blow us out like that and then to call us out like that, saying, yeah, we knew you guys were a bunch of quitters. If we got up a couple of touchdowns, you guys would roll over. He should have fucking been gone right then and there to lose to Green Bay and that team. But if they could stomach that and swallow that fucking loss, then there's nothing that a coach can do. Like, there's nothing that Eberflus is going to do this game, no matter how much they lose.
Yeah.
To
I don't
get
believe
fired
that
after this game. It's just not going to happen until the end of the season.
It doesn't seem realistic. I also want to say, and I'm going to be that fan. Look, I believe he should be fired. Not going to happen. Although I thought he should have been fired end of last week, just because the showing he's responsible. He's the face of the organization as far as from away from the GM. You know what I always find funny when you listen to fans of all teams is when the team, oh, these guys, somebody should be fired. You know what? When was the last time you was the best at your job or something? Anytime I hear fans talking about these guys overpaid over this, over that, horrible. Do you go to your job and give 100% every day? Or you go in there and you shit the bucket? Or shit in a bucket? Huh? How many of y'all is like, you know what? I'm the best person in my job. People don't like you at work. And you talking about somebody else should be fired. People don't like you. You work from home and they don't like you. Your wife wants you to go to work. Okay. But
sometimes you got to hold that mirror to yourself. You ask yourself, Coach Chef, how many of my dishes are being returned back to me?
Man, hey, man. I show up every day. I show up every day. There are days that I don't want to show up, but I give 100. I give 100 even the days that I'd be like, look, I went to work Tuesday. I went to work the day after the election and then the week after on the Tuesday. So my Mondays, my first day of the week is Tuesday. And both of them days, I didn't want to show up, bro. We had a couple people move shifts, and I was working with some people I didn't want to work with, the kind of the slower squad, and I knew, and the snowbirds are here in now at the hospital, so the census is high. So we got like 400, 380 plus on the census at work, and I'm hating every minute of these 8 hours. And I'm just like, bro, I should have called off. But guess what? I'm like, but I'm here. So while I'm here with this little shitty face, like I don't want to be here, I'm about to put this work in because I don't have no choice. My work, I wish I didn't have good work ethic, but I do. I was raised that way. So you got to show up.
Yeah.
I ain't coming in here sucking. I ain't.
I got to ask you this, and this is a little old and whatnot, but as a receiver, I want to ask you this with DJ, and I hate to bring this up here, but I'm really curious here.
I know. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks now. This 3 weeks now we've been talking about it.
The play where he kind of walked off the field in the beginning of the game there. And
3 weeks ago now. This is 4 weeks ago now. 3 games later.
When he gave his answer, when they asked him, like, hey, why did you like walk off the field? And granted, I saw him when he was walking off. He did have a bit of a limp. But when his answer was like, hurt ankle? Like kind of like he was asking, like, will you guys buy that? Hurt ankle? Yeah, I kind of tweaked it a little. And it was just like, da-da-da-da-da. It's just like, he's just got a resting, like, I don't give a fuck kind of face on him.
He got a resting like, bro, I don't want to answer these questions. I'm only here because they make me. You don't look, man. Before I answer that question directly, I will say this. Fans and media, we always want these guys to tell us the truth. Give us the unadulterated truth. Tell us what you feel. Be more personable. We want to see behind the curtain. No, the fuck you don't. You think you do. People,
you look behind the curtain and it's just an old man pulling strings and stuff like that. Like, oh no,
it's Mike Tyson's ass. So look, players are not going to be like you. That's not how this works,
more
man.
Divots in it than a fucking golf course in the green.
Almost 60-year-old man. Look,
yeah, no, I know.
In the sports world, no matter all these shows that show behind the scenes, you're never going to be 100% behind the curtain because you have to be behind the curtain to get that access. It's never going to happen. Players are not going to tell you the ball face shoot because then you would criticize them for telling you the truth. They just criticized Micah Parsons for throwing the coach under the bus. Now, he was wrong in the wording of what he said, but he said it from his heart. But then we criticized him. And then what he said wasn't even factually correct. You can't tell a coach who's been he's coached more years than you've played, essentially, to say that he's put in more work. Zach Martin has put in more work than my head coach has ever. Okay, that's just misinformed. That's not correct. I'm not saying he's the best coach in the world, but coaching is not at that level. It's not easy. You're talking about 10, 12, 15-hour days. Don't tell me people they putting in work. That's why they not in shape. That's why almost all coaches are out of shape, bro. You sitting at a desk, you're reviewing film, you're breaking down. Even the worst coaches have a play sheet as big as the Pancake House menu, or
we all remember Nagy's play,
the Cheesecake Factory menu. Okay, even the worst coaches. So what I will say, as a receiver, have I ever not had confidence in my quarterback? Yes. Have I ever bullshitted my route? Yes. But but not wholeheartedly, because you running a route. But if you running your route, but then in your head you like, he ain't about to throw me the ball, or you be like, he ain't about to throw it accurately. Right. That out route he threw to DJ that was short, he had a clean pocket, and he skipped it to DJ. And when DJ wanted to slap the ball when it hit the ground in front of him. I've been there where you open and you like, oh, he finally threw the ball. And then that motherfucker hit the dirt. You be like, you son of a bitch. You couldn't even like, I'm not saying it's there, but I've been there. High school, college, semi-pro, flag football, every level I played receiver. I played a game where I did not believe in my quarterback. And I'm just like, or you go to hey bro, can you just throw it up? Can you just give me, put it in my vicinity.
Trust me, I got it. Type of thing. You know what I keep on seeing. It's
just the way it is. He's not a running back, so it's not like you can touch the ball directly. You're depending on the guy to get you the ball. So yeah, I've been there.
Seeing the look on DJ's face, it like all I hear him saying in his head is like, man, I wish they would have kept Justin. Man, I wish they would have kept Justin. Just because of the year he had that first year, and we all said it at the end of the season.
DJ has been
you got to give Justin and DJ Moore a second year together.
For those who don't believe this, go look at DJ's quarterback since he's been in the league. The best quarterback he's ever had was Cam Newton, and that was a deteriorating Cam Newton. I think as a rookie, his talent had deteriorated, and I think he got Cam Newton back when he came back the second round for the Panthers. Look, I've been there. Every receiver been there. The best receivers in the world have been there where you don't believe in the guy throwing you the ball, but you run your route. You're like, hey, he might throw me the ball, but I just signed. I'm DJ. I signed a contract. I'm the number one guy. I need the rock. I can't help the team if you don't throw me the ball.
Yes.
How am I help the team? How am I going to earn this contract? I can't earn this contract if you don't throw me the ball. But okay, so we got about 10 minutes ish on the
yeah. I want to bring up the Nate thing that we almost forgot about that too.
Yeah, they finally released Nate. They finally released Nate Davis. You knew it was bad when he was a active. They said it was a back injury. They was like that. Nah, bro, we good.
He was like on game day, practice all week. Practice all fucking week.
That was a miss by Falus, but by Poles specifically. But guess what? When they signed him, no one boo-booed the signing. Everybody thought, hey, we needed interior help. He was one of the top five guards on the market. You gave him not even an expensive deal. You gave him probably at this point, looking down a year and a half later, you gave him a very baseline starter guard money. And unfortunately, he has some home issues. He has some loss in the family. I'm not faulting him for that, but I am faulting him for his response, because at the end of the day, you are a professional.
Just like
I'm 39. I'm 39 years old. My mother is 66 years old. Right. My mother's 66. If I lose my mother, God forbid, in the near future, I'm going to lose my shit. But guess what? At some point, I've got a family to take care of, and I've got to support them financially, and I've got to protect them. And yes, I'm going to be mentally not there. But when I go to work, I can't come shit to bed just because I don't have the woman who gave birth and raised me. I've got to show, because I've got people at home I got to take care of now. They're my priority. So how much of that is an excuse for you playing poorly? You played like shit here. Shit.
You are not fucking focused.
Now, I'm not saying that people embrace loss differently, but you're a professional. You have a responsibility based on the contract you sign, based on the people who live in your home to take care of them, and also your personal pride as an athlete and a man. You've got to handle your business, man. Sorry for the loss. My condolences. It's been a while, whatever. Other things. The Packers don't look great per se. We wait to the third round. Okay, so Blackwell is out here talking about the misses. The third round players fucking fail every year. Every team has them. Gave up a second for Claypool. You trade for players who miss. Who just made a trade? A winning team that made a trade that didn't work out. Oh shit! Now I can't think of it. So now my credibility on me saying it looks bad. Best post insights he signed prior. Now you put all those negative things up. Now, what were the positive things that he did? He got a haul for nothing. He got DJ. He got first round draft picks for 2 years that ended up being back-to-back ones, a second. Like, come on. Let's don't give me the shit if you're not going to give me the honey. Don't act like he's done nothing right. He's drafted a first round quarterback. He's gotten DJ Moore. He's got 2 tackles. One, a late round tackle who's an average starter. He's got a starting right tackle who's a first round draft pick. So who are solid players. The left tackle is an average tackle. He's probably 20th in the league. Like, he hasn't been the worst. You got a right tackle who, when healthy, is one of the better young tackles. He signed Swift. He's drafted other players that have been successful. Not every player is going to hit. Not every signing is not going to hit. Okay, he signed 2 linebackers. Both have been productive. You wish one was more productive than the other.
But they're not
never been stable since Olin Kreutz.
The center position for sure.
Come on.
But that was the other thing too. That was a miss on him. There was his first swing at center with Lucas Patrick. A lot of his first deals were 1-year deals. A lot of them, So it's hard to kind of really judge it there
because he had to fix the land. He had to fix the salary cap from the last GM who fucked up the salary cap.
But at the same time, I was hoping. Whatever. Okay, Lucas Patrick was an experiment, a 1-year thing. You swung and miss. He did it again with Coleman Shelton, though. It's like one of those. Like he needs, if he's staying the GM, he desperately needs to find a fucking center, whether it be a high valued fucking draft or a fucking just pay a top free agent center or try and like he needs to get
none of that is inaccurate. You're right. You need a center. You need a center. We need an offensive line. We need to build offensive line. But let's not act. Go look at the last 3 drafts. He's drafted multiple linemen in every draft, except for this one. He drafted 3 linemen in a draft 1 year.
Yeah,
he drafted
and all that.
He drafted Braxton Jones. We got a kid from San Diego State that didn't make the team, but went to another team and played. We got
Carter, right?
No. They just released him. They released him this year, but
there's somebody that he drafted.
Yeah, he drafted like 4. He drafted 4 linemen that year, all like mid to late round picks. But guess what? There's somewhere in the league. There's a mid to late round offensive lineman who's balling out. So then you could say that then it's the selection and the talent, okay? Or as Amp would say, oh, he's only drafting guys that remind him of himself. That's not. I don't believe that to be accurate. That's absurd to me. What I will say, let's see, better than this, we have the 4th worst. Okay, we really don't have the 4th worst offensive line. If you go really look at the numbers, Caleb's not getting rid of the ball either. And the running game, when we give the running back the ball for 3 weeks, after week 3, 4 weeks, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I believe, Swift I'm pretty sure he was top 5 in the league. Top 5, top 3 in total yardage, running and receiving. He went from averaging 1.8, 1.3 yards a carry to averaging 4 up until last week. So let's not blame the offensive line. It's so easy to blame the offensive line, but I've watched a quarterback hold the ball for 5 seconds and take a goddamn sack.
We have the worst offensive line within the 4 teams in our division. Okay,
well, you definitely don't have a better line than the Lions. They've been building the line for the past 5 years, even before their head coach got there. You don't have to a better offensive line than the Packers, I suppose. And when healthy, I would say mid-tier. I don't think if you took all the lines at the beginning of the season as healthy as they could be projection, I don't think with Minnesota, I guess. That's your opinion. He is a left tackle. He's not going to play another position. What, he's going to play right tackle? He's still a tackle.
Future left tackle, though. But I can understand the fifth rounder. Plus, that was the first year polls didn't have much pick compensation.
And then the tackle he got the year before, which wasn't a polls pick, he's your swing tackle. He was the tackle. He was the tackle who was starting, who was also a late round tackle, the kid from Southern Utah.
Didn't he draft Kramer too?
Yes, he did draft Kramer. So you drafted a developmental guy who is your heavy swing guard, swing center.
The one I got into it with the foul mouth though were looking back. No, granted, hindsight's 2020 right now.
Always.
But at the time, like I think drafting Kareem Amagaji is biting us in the ass right now. I think if he could have picked a guy that was healthier. I'm guessing okay, because Kareem was coming off that injury. That's the only reason kind of why I'm saying that. If he would have picked a guy that was able to get into training camp from day one, start learning our offensive scheme, our playbook. I mean, who knows how well that would have done with Shane Waldron, but just a body that was been able to get there from the get-go, because Amagaji didn't have any training camp, didn't have any preseason games, and it's one of those things where Mouth is saying his ceiling was a lot higher than maybe some of the other guys that got picked in that same round. Maybe a few spots, which
just potential. He was a highly rated offensive line prospect.
Correct. But the fact, which I get that, but I'm just like, we can't afford. I didn't think at that time we could afford to swing for a big guy like that, like for that potential, and get just more of a solid guy that hasn't had the injury issues, one that you can rely on being on the field more than likely than someone who's coming off of injury, not going to have any training camp, not going to have any preseason games. And if our line gets really injured and we need him, he may not be ready, which he is. Like he's a rookie still. He's still got some,
I don't want to compare. I don't want to compare him to a Hall of Famer. But there was a Hall of Fame tackle in the 80s and 90s who had a injury play college career and didn't play a lot his first year or so, and he ended up being a Hall of Fame tackle. And his name was Anthony Munoz. I'm not comparing. I'm just saying, if you're talking about injuries and guys, although he was a first-round pick, guys who came in with injuries. Anthony Munoz didn't play every snap at USC. And he struggled with injuries the entire college career, but his potential was there. And then I think he had little injuries like his first or second year, but then he turned into a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying Amagaji's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, because I could say Tevin. Okay, so his first year drafting picks, offensive lineman. He took Braxton Jones in the 5th. He took Zachary Thomas in the 6th. He's still in the league, although he plays for another team now. He took Kramer in the 7th, 6th, and he took Ja'Tyre Carter, who ended up losing his job that year. Then the next year, so that's 4 offensive linemen that draft. The next year, you take Wright. Then you actually, that's the only tackle you took. You took a bunch of D linemen but you're still building interior. So when we talk about interior play, he's taking interior guys every single year. You can go back and say,
drafted Amagaji.
Right. In this past draft, you get Amagaji in the 3rd, who was a highly touted guy. But this idea that, what the Bears should do was take offensive linemen every single pick. Guess what? You could do that, and guess what? They all could fucking flop. I'm just saying, like, the draft is still a crapshoot. There are no guarantees. There are guys who we thought were going to be good who aren't good. I thought Zach, the Rosen kid who played quarterback, was going to be a good quarterback. He's not in the league any goddamn more. He's in fucking business school. I thought a guy like Jalen Hurts was going to be a career backup. He's a perennial all Pro Bowl player, and he's got to the Super Bowl. Look, you want better. No, look. Also, everything's hindsight. When you miss shit, you should have done better. When you hit shit, it was amazing. So you got to balance yourself out as a fan.
Correct.
Yes, the year we drafted Bayless Jones. Yes, George Pickens went after. George Pickens is a bona fide starting receiver. You should have took George Pickens. You did not. So what are you going to do? Everyone evaluates differently. If George Pickens was that good, how come he didn't go in the first round? Do you be like, oh, he had off the field things? Look, if he was that good, he would have went higher. Okay.
Right. I mean, Randy Moss has off the field issues. He still was a first rounder.
He went after several picks. Although if it wasn't for the off the field, he definitely, he went 18. He would have went higher because
Derek Mason's. Sure. But he still was a first rounder.
But there were guys who passed. He got passed over. Like, come on, man. Dak Prescott. Before the injuries, he's an all pro. He just had a career year, was in the MVP race. It is a crapshoot. And
but the Green Bay
crapshoot, the Bears build these drafts. But they've also had better, they've shown longevity though. They didn't show longevity in the 80s, but that's all that. But we're talking about the past. This is what I will say. Because I know we got to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock Mountain Time here. We're on Mountain Time
and stuff. Guys, drop your predictions here in the chat if you let us know.
I still believe in. If I don't believe in anyone in this organization at this exact point, I believe in Poles. I believe in him more than the past GMs that the Bears have had. So that's what I'm going to say. And if we come back here in a year or two and he's no longer with the team, I'm still going to back the fact that I believed in him and he just didn't work out for all these reasons. You can change your mind based on the result all the time. That's what makes us humans. We're allowed to change our minds and say, you know what, we were wrong. Colin Cowherd does it. Some people don't. Some people are too ego driven to be like, I'm going to stand by it. Then I'm going to act like I didn't say it. Look, I was wrong about Claypool because of the talent. The talent was there. 6'5", 220, runs a 4.4. What you mean? He had 2 years of 800 yards. Looks good on paper. Yeah. He had the production prior. He does now. So we play the Packers. Packers are 6-3, obviously. Packers have a top 15 defense. They have a top 20. A top 15 offense. They have a top 20 defense. I don't have the Bears winning because the Bears just shit the bed for 2.5 games, and they haven't looked good offense.
Come on, man.
I mean,
I feel you. No,
there's nothing about what the Bears have shown.
How bad is it going to be? How bad is it going to be? So, what's your score?
Okay, so since I'm a betting man, although I'm not betting on this game, Bears are at home, but the Packers are
50-yard field goal for the W. That would be amazing. We would
that would be amazing.
Drinking for that.
That would be amazing, and then would make so many Bears fans so sad because that means you got to keep Eberflus another year, another day. Blah blah blah. Look, man, I ain't going for no losses. I ain't voting for no losses. I don't want them to lose. I'm gonna pick the Packers, but I don't want the Packers to win. Packers are a 5.5 favorite. Man, this game could go two ways. It could be close, or this could be a whitewash. I don't think they're gonna get blown out though. I think the offense is going to come out with some life, and I think the defense is still going to show up. The Packers are top 3 in yards, 7th in passing, but Love has 10 interceptions this year. They can run the ball. They just lost to Detroit. They lost to Minnesota, and they lost to the Eagles. But they've won games versus practically the same teams we beat so far, but some of them more convincing. So, and the over-under is 40.5. They're in Chicago. The weather's still pretty nice. It's not snowing yet, even though, those who don't believe in weather change or whatever. 21-28, 20-28, 28-20, 28-20 Packers. I don't think no. I mean, I hope they win, but I think we can get a field goal, 28-20, 28-20 to keep this to under, because this under is 40.5. I wouldn't touch this game at all. Although I would, if you want to, throw some money on the. I wouldn't throw it on the money line. Although if you think the Bears are going to win, then you could throw it on the money line and the spread, because the spread is -5.5 for the Bears via a FanDuel. We're not sponsored by them, but that's who I use. That's who I'm sourcing out my betting. So FanDuel has them +5.5. So if anything, if you really believe in the Bears and you want to put some money on the Bears, you could take the money line and the point spread, because if they win or they keep it less than a touchdown or less than 5.5, you'll get your money back and you'll win more. But I don't know. Do you have the updated projections for starters this week? I just had it up, but I was looking at some other stats on my phone.
The actives, inactives, you mean?
Yeah, actives and inactives. My apologies.
I did not. So
I
don't want to pin this much hope on Thomas Brown midseason. The season is a loss, and the Bears got top dollar.
They're 4-5. It's not a loss. I can't process it that way.
Okay, so let me ask you, what do you think is more likely? The Bears go 4-4 to finish the season, or 0-8?
No, they don't go 0-8.
So it's more likely they go 4-4. What is more likely?
I think it's more likely they go 4-4 than 0-8. I mean, you still got games against the Seahawks. So I mean, you ain't going 0-8. You go 0-8, you might have to get rid of Poles.
That's what I'm saying. If it keeps going,
I don't think that they'll go 0-8. I think it's more likely they go 4-4. I find it hard to believe right now, because right now I'm still sticking with my 9-game prediction. They need 5 to win 9, but they could win 3. I think maybe 3, so then put you back at 7 wins, 7-10. Like nothing about this seems good based on what they've looked like, man. Going to the Green Bay, Amagaji's out. Brisker's on IR. Obviously, we forgot to say Brisker's on IR.
Yeah.
Billings is on IR, but he went on IR. Jenkins is out.
That O-line's going to be hurt.
Jenkins is out. Ooh.
Yeah. That's
Patrick Scanley, blah, blah, blah. Webster, okay, he doesn't count. He ain't been playing. Montez Sweat is questionable. So that means you almost starting the same setup you had last year. Kramer's going to get some snaps. Amagaji's out, so that means you get Wright and Braxton. Those are the 2 starters. Then your center is still Sheldon. That means you're starting Curran and Pryor, probably. Curran and Pryor.
Where's Ryan Bates at?
No, I'm sorry. Bates, and you probably start Bates and Pryor. So Pryor will be your right guard. No, Tevin's not. Tevin out. I said Tevin's out, right? Yeah. So you Pryor and Curran, or Pryor and somebody else. Pryor and Bates. Pryor's gonna be the right guard, and whoever, unless they move him to, he's a swing guard. But that's your lineup. You got your bona fide. Well, three of your 5 starters were projected starters for game 1. So you got that. Everyone else on offense is active or there. So you have essentially your full onslaught of the guys who are supposed to be there outside of the offensive line. Swift, you got all the receivers, you got the tight ends. What are we going to see? It has to look different. Incrementally, not even worlds different. Play calling should be different. It shouldn't be as predictable, or has some more conviction in it. I know for a fact Thomas Brown has got a script. I bet you that. I put my life on that. I know Thomas Brown has a script.
Yeah, I hear you. The way he
Larry
was
Borum, you got your swing tackle. So you got your swing tackle. Maybe they bump Larry Borum into guard. I like Larry Borum as a swing guard, swing tackle.
Okay.
I think you've gotten a lot out of that pick.
Yeah, we'll see what they end up doing there. Hopefully
28-20 Packers. That's my prediction.
Hopefully they have better results than what they've had the last few games at the offensive line. Unfortunately, I don't see anything changing at all that from this season, or even the rivalry that's been going on, and stuff. And I think Thomas, Brown, can maybe give us a spark, but that may just be it, is a spark. So I'm seeing something like a 27-10 type of game, and that spark was that touchdown there, and maybe a field goal. It could be still even 27 to a 9 game, and we still don't get no touchdowns. And it's just because it's the same playbook. It's not like he's coming in with the whole new playbook. It's just his different version of calling the plays and having to attack. And maybe that can be enough to get the offensive rolling. But then it would also kind of bring up questions more of how did this guy not get the fucking job? If he was able to, in this 1 week of preparation, our offense looks like night and day.
Or if they
night and day
finish,
difference.
or they
It was
finish
just
looking like a real
completely-
offense. If the Bears finish the year
right.
looking like wow, they looked like somewhat of what we thought they would look based on the talent alone. Everett has been trash, but I don't blame it on Everett. You've seen the routes they've been having him run, screens, and like that's not what he ran with other teams. He's a vertical. I haven't seen a tight end seam all season. You seen a seam from a tight end? You seen a corner from a tight end yet this year?
The only seam I've seen from the tight end was the Komet pass in London,
and that was a double screen. That was a double screen leak. That was I don't count that as a seam because it was a screen, a double screen with a late leak. I don't. That's not the seam to me. I haven't seen a seam. I haven't seen a lot of intermediate passes that weren't deep digs or he ain't throwing a dig or the stuff that we were supposed to see. I haven't seen it. Sweat and Dexter are going to set the tone. They better set the tone. You have no choice as the defense. You got to set it up like, hey, we not gonna get nothing from the offense. We got to do something. Do our job. Let's get some turnovers. Let's turn some turnovers into points. Love can give you the ball. He has got 10 picks this year. He's averaging more than a pick a game, and he missed about 3 games. So let's get some turnovers. Let's put some pressure on him. You got to stop the run. You have to stop the run.
Brandon,
because
Josh Jacobs, I'm fearing is going to have a huge game.
Packers know us, and their head coach knows that we don't stop the run. So if we don't stop the run, he's a good head coach and good play caller. He's not going to start running the ball.
No.
And then once they start running the ball, they're going to play action us. And then, I mean, you only rush for it. So, hey.
No, I hear you.
Hey.
Everyone.
A lot of comments today, man. A lot of comments today. Thanks, Samuel Blackwell. Isn't that Amp's brother?
I have
Am I wrong?
idea.
I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong.
Amp's brother? I'm not sure. Brother from another
Keith,
mother, maybe. I don't know. Keith, thank you. Yeah.
Bryce,
Andrea chime in earlier.
Yeah, Andrea. I haven't seen Andrea on our show before, so thank you for coming out, and please tune in for more. We got to put out more content. I know I've got to. Oh, didn't I say I was going? What didn't I say I was going to do something? If we did something, I was going to get TikTok. What did I say last week?
Oh, yeah, it was a few weeks ago. Something on TikTok, but I think we needed a win or some shit. Like I don't. It didn't.
I got to go back. I got to go back and watch some shows and see what I was saying because I'm a man of my word. But yeah, you do a great job of your post game not snaps. Your post game TikToks, and I got to get on that. I got to get on that train, man.
Yeah,
got to get on that train.
Yeah, send me a video, win or lose. Let us know, and we'll get it posted on TikTok just to kind of give us our immediate thoughts after the game. So yes, everyone, please follow us on TikTok. Help us get to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We're at like 1,600.
Oh, that was the best. If we got to wasn't it? If we got to 2,000 before the end of the game
Christmas
or something,
or the end of the year,
something. Yeah, whatever it was, I joined TikTok. I'll go back if anyone can find that. I'll find it. Whatever the bet was. I'll find it and I'll be a man of my word. If we get to serve so many subscribers on TikTok, that I will download the TikTok app and join the TikTok.
We need to get 1,000 followers on TikTok so we can start streaming there as well. Give us a third kind of avenue to kind of stream
another
out
platform.
And kind of share our Bears knowledge and fandom with everyone else. And the more people in the clubhouse, the better. So we have a big clubhouse and we like to get as many Bear fans in here with us. So, but with that all being said, tune in tomorrow. We have back with the Crooked Commish Fantasy Football Show. Anyone that's watching that is part of our Chicago Clubhouse Fantasy Football League on Sleepers, please tune in. Let us know. We're getting towards the end of the season, so someone's going to get their name on that belt there. Let us know if it's going to be you.
Look, I don't want to be that guy. Okay, thank you. We got another like. I'm going to like too. So right now, from me watching the show on my other phone, we have 9 likes. I just liked it. So before then, we had 8. Do we have 8 people? I felt like we had more than 8 people chiming in today.
We did.
That's on Facebook.
We're starting to. Yeah, it's on Facebook and YouTube. So they're kind of going in and out. So, but like I said, fantasy football show on Monday, and then Tuesday we have the main show with T Nick, Frank the Tank, Foulmouth, and JB. Win or lose, we'll talk about what happened with this Green Bay game. Hopefully it's a win, but I don't think any of us on the Tuesday show picked them to win, unfortunately. So, but hey, Chicago Bears, surprise us. Please, for the love of fucking God. Show us something. Do something.
10 likes. We got another like. There we go.
There we go. Hey, this begging's working.
Go.
The begging's working.
Hey, show up, show out. You from the South Side all day. Everybody who I've been here. Where you from? From Chicago. Chicago, yeah, South Side. That's how I say it every time. Yeah. All day till I die.
So, anyways, guys, like I said, hit that thumbs up, check us out, and share us to your other Bears friends if you have fantasy football fans or friends as well. Please share us as well with them, introduce them to us, and then we'll take it over from there. So until then, y'all be safe out there, and remember to be good. But shit, if you can't be good, at least be good at it.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
I'm also not giving the claw until they win a game. I ain't doing that. But I'll say bear down.
And now it's all over.